Welcome to Metaphysical Soul Speak. I'm your host, Elena Fox Starks. Hey guys, I hope that whenever and wherever you may be when you hear this recording, that you are happy and healthy and balanced in all 12 of your chakras and all of your minor chakras. Tonight we are going to talk about the crown chakra and how it relates to the immune system. Today is the first day of healing this chakra, and it's going to be for the next 2 days. So if you're listening to this after the day in which this is actually taking place, you might have already gone through the healing, but you might want to still go through the show to make sure you did not reblock yourself. So there's that. Okay, so in interesting news tonight, there was a sighting of a long line of stars lined up, looking like, I don't know, a long chain of glittery diamonds. It is the latest, the first start to Elon Musk's plan to grid the entire planet with a 6G network. He's given himself 5 years to get it done. He knows by 2021 it will be online. 2024, 5 years, not 1.5 years. So remember what I said about time traveler Noah back? He had given this interview like 8 or 9 months ago. Well, this week, Elon Musk launched 60 satellites into space. They're the beginning of a network of 12,000 satellites. He plans to launch in a grid pattern over the planet in order to give everybody on Earth, regardless of socioeconomic status, free Wi-Fi forever. So it's pretty cool. It's a wonderful idea. Not thrilled with the gridding of the planet so much. Not thrilled with the blockages of starlight so much. But he does have a plan in place that once everything is in place, he's going to dim the lights so you can still see the stars. So at least he's got that as far as a plan is concerned. 12,000 satellites. How the hell is he going to coordinate this? I don't even want to think about it. It's too much math. But pretty crazy stuff, right? All right, so that was the biggest news for the night, actually, that I could think of. There is another thing, though, that Metaphysical Mike, he had a live episode today, and he was very much all over the map, like interrupting himself and going off in different directions. I wonder if he doesn't have ADHD like I do. Or if he has a blocked crown chakra, which is okay, because in the next 48 to 72 hours, he'll be fine. We'll all be fine. Receive the healing energy. Anyway, he was talking about so many hurricanes and tornadoes, and my God, they've never been where they are now. Remember, I just said, a few days ago, like last week, that there was going to be tornadoes possibly touching down in New York. Not common at all. So, he was talking about how it's people's negative thoughts possibly creating the storms. That is one possibility. Another possibility I brought up, he even read my response on the air, is that it's potentially cleansing the land. Ask yourself, Has there ever been a war on the American soil where the tornadoes are touching down? Did they touch down in Texas? The Alamo. Alamo. I didn't quite do that right. Or, has any of them touched down in, I don't know, New England or the East Coast? Revolutionary War. Has any storms befallen the South? Civil War. I mean, seriously, you guys got to understand that when the land is confused, eventually healing is sent to that place. And the land gets confused because it thinks it's the land, and then a war takes place, and then new people live on it, and then the land gets confused. What happened? No one explained it to the land gets confused. And the confusion creates all kinds of crap, magnetic anomalies, just pattern interferences, with ghosts, with God knows what. It's just like so much crap gets confused into the land. Or shall I say diffused into the land. It needs to be diffused out of the land. And the only way to really do that is hurricanes, storms, washing it away with rain, massive wind clears out an area in 0 seconds flat. It clears out the area. So it could be people's negative emotions, sure. It could be people's resistance to change, sure. It could be people's lack of awareness and they're sleeping still, sure. But it also could be a massive frickin' cleanse. As well as the 3D world actually breaking up and falling off and falling away. Now that we're in the 5th dimension, it was like our rocket booster. Now they're going up, 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 up in vibration and dimension and up into the frickin' stratosphere. It's possible. That's possible too. But nonetheless, my heart and prayers and my mind are always with the people who suffer at the hands of nature, because it's still hard. It's still freaking hard. It's hard to deal with that nature. It really is. I mean, just like with the earthquakes here, like that releases a massive amount of energy from the land. I mean, let's see, what has ever taken place in Peru? Inca invasion, Spanish conquistadors. You know what I mean? Like it's like there's not one piece of land that gets something like this of massive magnitude without there having had been a past action for which this is a consequence. Right? You got to think about it like that. Like, gee, what has ever happened on this land in which it needs to be cleansed? I mean, I'm in Ecuador, and when you think about it, the bottom end of Peru, which is a pretty big country, and that's where the Incas came from, and they went all the way through all of Peru, all of Ecuador, all of Colombia, or almost all of Colombia. They spread out far and wide to conquer the little tiny tribes everywhere in order to make the grand Incan Empire. And then the conquistadors came and conquered them. I mean, there's a lot of cleansing that has needed to take place in a lot of these places for a very long time. I don't know what took place in Hawaii, but that might be a result of, the volcanoes going off every day for like 4 months or whatever it was. I mean, that might be a direct result of the Japanese bombing Pearl Harbor. That might have been what was needed to get rid of that energy. I mean, bubbling up hot lava for 4 whole freaking months. Maybe. Because the people had that anger, right? People have that anger, and they have that anger that gets passed down, probably encoded DNA to the kids, and then they have their kids, and those kids have that anger. There's still some things that have not healed on the planet, and that's why I think, at least, this is a big freaking cleanse, man. We're going through a big freaking cleanse with our third eyes right now. Right now. I mean, actually, the third eye just ended the crown chakra tonight. Actually, tonight is what's happening at the crown chakra. So we are all going on individual cleanses, familial cleanses, friend cleanses. Like, family that can't handle this energy, checked right the hell out. Most of them have died, right? Or friends, same thing. Or they just drop off and like suddenly delete or block you on Facebook. Good. You know what? We're sorting. They sort themselves out. People do. They will sort themselves out of your life. You know, they don't believe the spiritual stuff you believe, and then they talk smack, and then they block you or delete you. Goodbye. That is a good bye. For real. When people do that, you know, I was just listening to N5D.com. Greg had a video on there about his best friend for 40 freaking years, over 40 years since he was in grade school. His very, very best friend. I mean, a guy who's been a part of his life, in his wedding, like a massive, practically every holiday at his house type of friend, just freaking deleted and blocked him because he thinks that this spiritual stuff is quote unquote BS. He's got his crown chakra blocked for damn sure, because anybody who is blocking themselves to spirituality totally are absolutely crown chakra blockage cases. So you don't have to judge people or be angry at them for not believing the way you do, because obviously we all have different beliefs. We all have, even in the New Age community, even in the light worker community, everybody has a different view and a different point. And it doesn't mean that, like, when Metaphysical Mike says it's people's negative thoughts, he's not wrong. I believe that's true. But I also believe it's a cleanse. And that doesn't mean that I'm wrong, because he's right. We're all right. Because we all have a different little perspective on it, you know, and there can be 5 more people that have another perspective or opinion, and we're like, oh yeah, actually, yeah, you're right too. You know, we don't see the grand picture in and of ourselves. It's impossible to see everything. It's impossible to see the whole big grand picture. And that's why we are all needed, and that's why we are all one, but we're all one piece of the great grand design, the big puzzle that God created. We're all a little tiny piece of it. You know, Jesus might be a cornerstone piece. He would be the corner piece, possibly, because he pulled a lot of people together that otherwise wouldn't have been together. He helped shape Jesus. He shaped generations of people. Now, then those people ran with their own ideas of his words and twisted it and promulgated it into something that just does not serve humanity in most cases. Oh yeah, and speaking of that, in Georgia and other places where all the laws have suddenly changed to show their adamant hatred of women, you know, all the abortion laws that just came out that show that women who are grown human beings, those lives don't frickin' matter, but an unborn clump of cells that don't even have a heartbeat or a brain yet matter more than the women. So to me, that's very misogynistic. It's very anti-human. It's very reptilian, linear 3D thinking. Anyway, today Variety reported this afternoon, in fact, a couple hours ago, that Hollywood is going to change its mind as far as where they are going to shoot or film or record any TV shows or any movies from this point forward. And if they have an anti-abortion or anti-woman law in place, sorry, Charlie, nothing gets filmed in Atlanta anymore, boy. Sorry. Ain't gonna happen. No, no, no. Texas, sorry, no one's gonna mess with you anymore as far as the industry is concerned. We're not going to be filming our movies down there. You think The Walking Dead, which has been providing jobs in the tiny little town in Georgia, is going to see that money in revenue there any longer? Oh, hell no. They've already said they're pulling out and they're checking out their other options. They're no longer going to film The Walking Dead or any of those shows. It's gone. I mean, by creating a law that is so radically against females, they just screwed themselves economically. Because I'm sorry to say, in spite of what 5 or 6 horrible individuals who are now in jail for harassing women, in spite of that, Hollywood does normally have a heart. And sorry, it beats liberal, usually. The liberal when it comes to human beings' rights. LGBTQIA. God, how many letters have we added to that? But anyway, queer rights, basically. Women's rights, basically. They haven't gotten so far as to actually give a crap about animal rights, even though they put the little disclaimer. There has been some things I don't even want to go into. But as far as women's rights, female rights, you know, it's crazy. Like, I don't know why these states think that they could just get away with this crap. But, you know, we'll see. We'll see. It's the last bastions of, well, okay, yeah, same thing. It's the last. I'm in a feisty mood today, guys. I really am. But it's just, this is the last bastion of the reptilian foothold, that the negative reptilian foothold, I might add, because there are some good guys in the Orion galaxy. There are some great people out there. There are space brothers and sisters, and they may look reptilian, but they're not the bad ones. They're the good ones. And so you can't say that all reptilians are bad. Like, you can't say all aliens that have gray skin are bad, because there are so many different races that we don't even know about. So we have to start being mindful of our galactic space brothers and space sisters. So, and I don't know, there might be a space something else other than brother and sister. God, I don't know. So, all right. Yeah, I mean, that's all I really had to say. I'm going to go into something later, but I don't have time right now. I might have to talk about it tomorrow. But anyway, yeah, after this message, we're going to get into the crown chakra. That's pretty much where I'm going with this. I have tons of freaking energy. Can you tell? Only thing I had today was like coffee and then wheatgrass. Woo! So today's a vegetarian day for me, and tomorrow will be a meat eating day. So I'm going to try to balance my two sides with this. I figure this is the only way I could get away with this. So my body needs the meat, and I need to be healthy. But at the same time, I don't want to eat meat every day. It's just too much. Yesterday, I was making lamb steaks. Yes, lamb. I can't believe I'm eating lamb. I was making lamb steaks, and the lamb from which it came and stood next to me and said, you know, the lamb spirit literally said to me, you know, I'm totally okay with this. You don't need to feel guilty. because he could feel me feeling guilty. He's like, I don't want you to feel guilty when you eat this. I want you to enjoy it. I came here for this purpose. It's okay. And I'm like, all right. And I was just petting his little woolly fur etherically while I'm cooking the lamb steaks. I'm like, oh my God, why couldn't I have been born like a type A? Like not type A, but blood type A, because people, they're blood type A. It's like A for agrarian. You're supposed to be eating like grains and vegetables and fruit, That's someone with an A, but I wasn't born with an O, that's mostly supposed to be meat eaters. I'm an AB, so I'm supposed to be eating things like rabbit and lamb. I don't eat rabbits. I can't handle it. Like, I don't eat cuy. I know I live in Ecuador. I don't eat guinea pigs. They're pets, not food. But anyway, I don't know. I do feel great, though. Thank God. 4 days we've been going through this crap of this massive plasma coming our way in solar waves and solar winds and gamma rays and cosmic radiation. We've been bombarded consistently for like 4 or 5 days. I'm finally out of that mental fog. Did you guys know? Could you tell? I was kind of off my game for a couple days, but I feel better now. Really, really better. I hope you guys do feel better too. What's ironic is my friend, my new listener, Miranda, she wrote me today and said, I have been feeling great for weeks, and suddenly, like in the last couple days, it hit me. And she's mentally foggy, and she's like, I don't know. It's like her life's on the verge of just changing on a dime, and she feels it and senses it. I'm like, yeah, I think that maybe you were unblocked up until like your third eye, and now your third eye crown chakra. Now you're going to be going through this cleanse, and then when you cleanse it, and you're going to be fine. But I think that whatever days you felt clear, and that's the healing we're going through, you were fine on that level. Well, we'll see if we're all together fine on the crown when we get into it. Right after this message. Hey you, have you ever thought about having your own podcast like me? Was it even a New Year's resolution? For me, it sure was. But as I've been looking into this for months, I was daunted. There's so many questions I had. When I was trying to get this off the ground, I was wondering, how do I record the episode? How do I get it across all the platforms? How do I get my podcast on Apple Podcasts when I don't even have an iPhone? How do I get it onto Spotify and all the other places? How do I get people to listen? And how do I make money from my podcast? How do I edit it? Oh my God, I had all these questions, and I was so confused until I discovered the simple answer is Anchor. Anchor is a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing your podcast. Best of all, it's 100% free, and it is ridiculously easy to use. And now Anchor can match you with great sponsors too, so you can get paid to podcast. All you need to do is record it. You don't have to go out and look for people to advertise on your show. They help you. So basically what I like about podcasting is I don't have to have a video of myself. You don't know if my hair is dirty or if I'm still in my pajamas or even if I'm wearing makeup. Haha. And it's so easy. I could do this from the comfort of my own home in my living room using this amazing app right from my cell phone. So easy, right? So if you've always wanted to start your own podcast and make money, by the way, doing it, please go to anchor.fm/start That is anchor.fm/start to join me and the diverse community of podcasters that are already using Anchor. Again, that's anchor.fm/start. I can't wait to hear your podcast, and I can't wait to favorite you. Woohoo! Let's be broadcast podcast buddies. I'll see you there. Did I just do what I thought I just did? Oh my God. I forgot to give you guys the actual spiritual news of the day. So let's get into that right now. Oh my goodness. Schumann Resonance news today. Today's activity started after the previous days. The first significant peaks appeared just before 7 UTC time and immediately reached 53 hertz, which is the most powerful peak in today's chart. After this start, many other variations between 35 hertz and 50 hertz followed one another and are still in place, and they are coloring the last part of this day with powerful white. And the Ascension Symptoms Scale number for today is 99. What that means, we are just still being bombarded by all this cosmic energy. I can't believe I forgot to give that in the introduction, which is what the introduction is supposed to be for. But I just got all kinds of excited about that 60 grid and the news about Georgia. I love how we can change the world with where we put our dollars, and so that's why for me, generally speaking, I try to shop at the store next door, shop locally, and I buy stuff from local farms, and now I'm buying meat from my butcher shop, which is a brand new New York style place, which I just mentioned like a few days ago, but all of his stuff comes from a farm that's like just outside of town. So I think I'm now literally shopping everything is local, finally. I've tried my whole life to be mindful of where I shop, but mindfulness is a huge, huge part of the crown chakra. So let's get into everything that you've wanted to know about the crown chakra, and you weren't afraid to ask, you just didn't know to ask. So, all right, we're going to get into that right now. Now, before I get too far into this, I do want to say that I am going to relate this to the immune system, because not only are the energies such right now that we're being bombarded by the gamma rays, which changes our DNA and our energy and whatnot, but we are being healed on a crown chakra level as far as how it relates to our immune system. So we're going to go over all of that. So if your immune system is fine, but you still have a blockage of the crown, that will be healed. If your crown chakra is open, but as it relates to your immune system still needs some tweaking, that's also being healed. If everything is blocked, then it's also being healed. Everything is being healed. So as far as our physical body and our immune system, even though we have 12 chakras, major chakras, plus a lot of teeny tiny minor ones, we are stopping the healing because we don't really need star chakra healing, because that only came online recently. So haven't muddied that one up quite yet. So that's the good news. All right. So the 7th chakra, or the crown chakra, sits on top of your head like a crown. Wow. I'm sure you could see that connection. It's so easy, right? Also, some people believe it kind of floats above your head a little bit, just a teeny tiny bit off your head. So, I don't know. I feel like it's directly on my head from my own personal experience. I know that when it starts to get super, super active, it feels like a giant Mickey Mouse hand is grabbing my head, and then my Kundalini raises, and then there's all kinds of, what? It's like internal fireworks. It's like a massive electrical light parade inside my body. Speaking of Mickey Mouse. All right. The name in Sanskrit for your crown chakra is Sahasrara. I will say that again. Hopefully I'm pronouncing it correctly. Sahasrara. Such as, rah, 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 we've done it. We've healed all of our chakras now. Okay, today, as I'm recording this is our first day of crown chakra healing, especially as it relates to the immune system. And as such, we had 2 more days of this. So today's Thursday. So by Saturday, by the weekend, you should have all your chakras cleansed. In theory. Probably you will, though. We have to create a space for our etheric bodies to be relaxed and cleansed, and our emotional body, all of our bodies. Remember how we said a few days ago when we're working with emotions, open up the holes in the feet of your emotional body, let all the emotions you don't need to hold on to anymore drain out. Still do that. Try to keep doing that every day. Keep everything clear, everything clean, because what's coming in June, oh my God. You know what? Actually, I'm going to look at the date. What is the date? Today is the 30th. Friday is the 31st. And oh my God, just perfect cosmic timing. The 1st of June is when our crown chakra will be cleaned. And June is when we literally will start to connect with the 9th dimension. If we are already up. If we connect to our cosmic source of us, our 9th dimensional self, looking down into the heaven self, our higher self, looking down into the 5th dimension, and we're above time and space already. We're up there. That's what the star chakra is, being above time and space. That's next. We don't need to cleanse it, but we need to start working with it more. We're going to get into that towards the end of this, hopefully. Hopefully I'll have time. Okay. So the 7th chakra, or Sahasrara, is usually shown by a circle with 1,000 petals. 1,000 petals is basically all of the roads that someone can take at which to meet divine. Now, obviously, there's more than 1,000 roads. There's probably 100,000, if not 1,000,000 roads. You can't tell me that 2 Christians think 100% exactly alike, right? Or 2 Jews, or 2 Hindus, or 2 Muslims. Like, you know, we all have our own unique lens. We're a piece of the grander puzzle, right? So no 2 people will have the exact path. I mean, you could have 2 Buddhists that lived practically the same side by side, but one had a death early on and one never experienced death in his life, you know, in his family, for example. You know what I mean? So it's like we always have like our experiences that have come before us, our past lives. You know, there's always different views of God and how we met the divine in our own life. I mean, some people might be aware of the ascension, but they're sticking with their religious beliefs and they're not dealing with the spiritual side of it. They're just going to allow God to take care of everything, and that's okay, because that's where they need to be. There's still people totally asleep. Literally, I had somebody right before I started the show today, somebody actually wrote me from Cairo and said, so what does meditation get me? I'm like, whoa, what does it get me? Like, said the opportunist. Like, wait, what? It sounds to me like his crown chakra is blocked, quite frankly, actually. That's, says the person who has a blocked crown chakra, actually. So that is a prime example of someone with a blocked crown. He asked me what religion I am, and I didn't want to get into it. I just said, well, I'm more spiritual than religious, and that's my whole life's work is my show. And it's, I've studied this stuff for 33 years, and I'm still studying. I'm constantly studying. There's new updates all the time. In fact, while I was studying about the chakras, God butted in. I'm just kidding. It's never a butt in. I love God so much. No, but God, he just kind of said, oh, let me tell you something more, because there's new information as it relates to the crown chakra, as it relates to our immune system, and as it relates to us now being opened up wide for our cosmic communications, for our multidimensional selves that we're only now coming into awareness of. We might have mentally known that it's true, but now we're experiencing it on levels beyond where we ever imagined we could. Okay, so basically the crown chakra is related to the pituitary gland, which is the master gland that pretty much helps all the other glands to function in your body correctly. This is the one that helps you to grow when you're a baby on up through teenager. And it doesn't stop. I mean, when you're 25, you're set for life. If you were just, out of shape up until the age of 25, and then at 26 you got into shape as possible, you're going to struggle with that the rest of your life. But if you're, you planned it correctly and you got into perfect shape before you're 25 and you're a man, for example, what will happen is you will pretty much always have that body for the rest of your life. So if you're very young and you're listening to this, try to get into pretty damn good shape right now, okay? My oldest, he's going through hormones. He's taking his testosterone to become a man, and he's like, Mom, I'm so excited because my muscles are getting better. My back is straightening itself out. My feet are growing. I'm growing taller. He's like, this is like phenomenal. He doesn't even have a beard yet, and he's already seen the changes. He's like, this is so great. So he's like, my plan is to become very muscular, basically. So he will, because he knows he's going to have that body the rest of his life. I was 18 when I started bodybuilding. Maybe actually was 17. I was still in high school, but I was in the track team, and I was horrible, really horrible. But I wanted to get through my asthma if I could, and I fixed it a little bit, but it didn't really work. I still have asthma, so it's just, I thought, well, maybe if I exercise too much. No, it didn't work. All right, so basically, that's what your pituitary gland does. Also, your crown chakra is related to your pineal gland and your hypothalamus. So my higher guidance, basically God and my spiritual team, said we have discovered basically that the crown chakra is now related to your skeletal system and your nervous system. So all your nerves, the way that they fire. And also the new information here is that it is related to your crystalline skeletal system, as well as your crystalline, if we have a nervous system. So basically, the crown chakra is the bridge now between your upper level bodies that weren't really online until our DNA just got unwrapped, unpacked, decoded. As it unfurls more, we will have more of a connection to, like, our Merkabas, for example, our spirit light bodies. It's beyond our astral body. It's something different. Or ethereal, same thing. So It is, but your Merkaba is something different. It's like a vehicle for which you could supposedly travel around, but not physically like what you think of it. I think it's more of a consciousness, travel your consciousness around. All right, so we have a crystalline skeleton, right, that is growing, but in the upper realms, the upper dimensions. And so our crown chakra is now connecting us not only to the divine, to our higher self, to our spiritual team. It's connecting us not only to our own skeleton and nervous system, but it's also connecting us to our crystalline structured system, which may or may not have wings. So, I mean, it's interesting, right? So, basically, have you guys been going through the startle reflex? Have you ever been around a little baby, a newborn baby, that every few minutes they start to laugh and their body shakes and they look really weird when they go, hey, and they just get this weird little woo. It looks like they have a little rush of like maybe air went over them and they got a little cold and they get like covered in goosebumps. And they kind of go, woo, like they kind of like a chill almost, even if it's a hot day. Because I've been going through this now for weeks, and I think that this is related to not only pulling in the cosmic energy, but I think it's a crown chakra becoming more and more activated and connecting more and more to the higher dimensional crystalline body. And it's the baby startle reflex. But in a way, we're being reborn into the fifth dimension, into a higher realm. And as we're being born into that, we're becoming like babies. And I think that our nervous system, everything is getting upgraded. And so I just I woke up this morning and I thought about seeing my son, and I thought about having coffee with my son and having conversations with him. And normally it's like, oh yeah, it'd be cool to hang out with my kid today. But today was like, woo, and I got this, like, I just started like shaking, my body like started shaking, and I got this levels and waves of bliss, right? Like these waves of ecstatic, spiritual ecstasy. It's like bliss, like, yeah, I want to do that. And when I see a really pretty picture of nature, or like if I'm watching a movie and something in the background is super gorgeous, or now when I go outside and I'm in the sunlight and I'm looking at the clouds, I get these waves of like, what? Ecstatic bliss. I don't know if you guys have been going through that. I hope you are, because it's so fun and it's so weird. And it's like the baby startle reflex. Exactly. It's not even the startle reflex. It's the, I don't know, just you have to observe a newborn baby. If you've never been around a newborn baby, or you can't remember from the last time you were around a newborn baby, watch this. Just watch it. It's like they get like all giggly and funny, like they just start laughing and they giggle out of nowhere. And sometimes they're looking at their hands and their hands go really stiff, and then they're like looking at their fingers or their toes. That exact feeling is what's going on with us now, especially as it relates to our crown chakra. So basically, it connects our physical body to our higher selves. It is a bridge between the material and the non-material. And none of this is immaterial, so I'm not going to say that. It's the bridge between the corporeal and the non-corporeal parts of you. So it's pretty big. It's a pretty big thing. The color is white, but also white that contains all colors, like the rainbow pastel colors. The white is like white light. So in order to heal yourself with your crown chakra, imagine pillars of violet, high vibrational violet purple, like pale purple, coming through your body to heal, like the violet flame, working with the violet flame, Saint Germain stuff. But I love the idea of a violet flame. walking through a flame that will never burn you, but it will clear away all your dross? Yes, please. But also imagine that there's a flower with thousands and thousands and thousands of petals sitting on top of your head, and it's white or violet, and it's opening and opening and opening. That's another way to heal your crown chakra. Another way to heal is through meditation. I'm going to go over stones in a little bit. So I think that possibly as far as food to heal your crown chakra, we're going to have to say turnips for this one. Beets possibly, because they're root vegetables, but they contain a dense amount of ethereal energy. And I know that turnips help your astral body, so I think that they would help your crown. I don't know, I'm thinking very watery things like celery and watermelon, things that have a lot of water in them. Yeah, that's pretty much what God is telling me. Drinking a lot of water, just not a lot, by the way. Too much can hurt you. But drinking high quality water, not like, LA Tap or Flint. God, don't let me get started on that. But yeah, just drinking high quality water. Actually, crystal water. Putting in amethyst in your water, letting it sit overnight, maybe having it sit under the sun or under the moon to get that extra energy. Maybe if you're a witch, you could cast a spell over it for health. That would be something. If you do Reiki, you're Reiki practitioner, you could put Reiki into the bottle, into the energy of the stone, put that in your water. Imagine it opening your crown. So how do you know when your crown is blocked? Okay, so this is something. We are in the process of incorporating new codes into our immune system, new light codes from the cosmos, right? Into our immune system. And if we have a crown chakra that's blocked, a lot of this is going to be blocked. We're going to be blocked to the information. So basically, let's see. If you have a blocked crown chakra, you're going to have zero interest in spiritual things. You're going to be very blocked and limited in your wisdom of spiritual matters and in your spiritual growth. You might feel emotional distress, loneliness, isolation, a lack of direction in life, inability to set your goals or maintain your goals or your life course in the direction that you had planned. You might see that there's not a reason to go on with your goals that you had set before. And you feel very cynical towards spiritual stuff. So that's like basically a pretty obvious, I suppose, in some ways. But if you have a cynical attitude or you're just completely ignoring anything sacred, you're denying that God exists, or you're denying that spirituality can be valid for some people. Even if you're an atheist, you have to see that some people feel like, they need the spiritual stuff, so you allow, and because you want people to allow your way. That would be an opened crown chakra. So I'm not saying that atheists have a blockage to it, but if they're very cynical towards anything and everything that helps people feel good on a spiritual level, then that might be a blockage, for example. So it doesn't mean you have to be spiritual or else you have a blocked crown chakra and we're all going to point at your head and go, hey, 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 hey. I'm just kidding. No one would ever do that. A, because we can't see your crown chakra. I'm just kidding. Like new age bullies going around pointing at people's chakras. You got tear in your aura. Just kidding. Actually, I know two people that did that to me. They're like, you've got a tear in your aura. And they were like vultures around me. And it turns out they're both narcissists. They're spiritual narcissists. And I can believe it. Like, what? They literally gathered around me and started bullying me. Literally poking my aura where there was a rip in it. I'm like, okay, y'all need to go now. I'll fix my own aura, thank you. I just done spiritual battle with another spiritual narcissist across town. I was like, oh my God, get me out of here. Thank you, God. That was like a year ago, but things are better now. So basically, if you deny obvious spiritual truths that exist, or if you have a complete disconnect with anything and everything spiritual, and you're cynical and mean towards people who do believe something that you don't believe in, or that you can't, well, if they see it and you don't believe that they see it, and you say that they're wrong, and, you know, being very judgmental towards spiritual stuff would be a clue. Denying other people's right to be happy in the spiritual thing, having a disconnect, being disconnected from God, the universe, living in your head only in a fantasy world that does not have anything to do with reality. I mean, think Dougal on Father Ted. If you've never seen the show, oh my God, go watch it. It's hilarious. If you are unaware of your body and all earthly matters, so say you're one of those crazy people where you live in your mom's house and you've got the basement laboratory and you've got a grease paint and you've penciled all over these, you know, formulas that nobody can understand, and you've got pictures of different things with, okay, no one does that. No one does that. No one does that. Yeah. You're obsessed with spiritual matters. You're living in your head and you're unaware of your earthly surroundings. You haven't had a bath in 4 months, and all you could think about is, okay, if I do this meditation this way, then. Okay, probably nobody's like that bad, like at all, like for real. But if you do have a spiritual obsession and you can't get enough of spiritual stuff, and you stop eating and you stop talking to people, and yeah, I could see this in myself quite a bit. Don't live in my mom's basement. She lived in California. There's no basements in California. You know, guys know what I mean when, like, someone's trying to catch someone, and then now they have like pictures all over all 4 walls, and there's like strings between all the pictures connecting everything. None of it ever looks like it makes sense in any of the shows I've ever seen when they have that. It's like, how could you tell anything from anything? There's no neatness to it ever. It's hilarious to me. Anyway, you're obsessively attached. You allow others to speak on your behalf spiritually when it comes to spiritual matters. So, okay, this is a good one. When you walk into a church and you see the people that say, Pastor so-and-so said this and Pastor so-and-so said that, and they don't investigate spiritual truths from within inside themselves, they just go along with what Pastor so-and-so said. You know, if you're spiritually lazy or morally lazy, for example, people who voted for, you know, against all women in all those states, where suddenly if you have a miscarriage, you're going to go to jail forever, or you're going to get the death penalty for getting an abortion. You know, the people that voted for that, they're morally lazy. They think only in terms of thou shalt not kill, and yet they don't realize that they're killing the women who were given the position to decide for themselves their life, right? So that's being, like, in a way, it's being morally lazy. Like, you just go, well, my religion says this, so I have to do that. It's like, really? Do you have to kill all those women in the process? Because your religion also says not to kill. Well, I just go by what my pastor says. See, that would be an example of a spiritually lazy or morally lazy person. So when you go along with what someone says, like, I will give you another example from Islam. I have met a lot of people who will say, well, it's in the hadiths this and it's in the hadiths that. Really? Have you read the Quran? The Quran says do not listen to any books that come after the Quran because they won't be written by us, meaning Archangel Gabriel and Mother, Father, God, basically. Who's us? When God says us, who's us? Weird, right? Who is us? Us, you and me, and all of us. But anyway, we could get into a whole discussion on that. But like when people start quoting at me from all these aftermarket books from the Suna, especially Suna people have always done this to me. Well, in this book it says this, and in this book it says this, and did you do this, and did you eat this black seed, and did you wear that hat? It's like, what are you talking about? It does not say anything in the Quran. It doesn't even say in the Quran to pray in the way that Muslims pray. It does not even say that. So people are getting their information from the books that came after. You know, that's being spiritually lazy in a way, because you're not reading the book that your whole religion is based on. You're just reading the smaller, littler aftermarket books and listening to all the people in community who also read the small aftermarket books. I mean, I've met people who have never read the Quran and they're Muslim, which in the Islamic faith you're supposed to. You know, that's like a big part of it. But I mean, in the Christian community, same thing. I know a lot of Christians never read the Bible all the way through. I read most of it, but I haven't read it all the way through. Not all of it. You know, so in a way that's being spiritually lazy, like to go to church every week or mosque or temple or whatever every single week, and you're just parroting the words that the person in charge, and you allow them to be in charge of you. That's being that's not even a word. Well, it is, but not what I meant. Sporally. No, it's being morally lazy and spiritually lazy. Sporally lazy when you're lazy both ways. Okay. How can I twist this misspeak into something real? I'm just kidding. I just made a new word in English. Woo! Okay. When you justify actions that hurt other people, that's being spiritually, morally lazy. And it's a sign that your crown chakra is blocked, okay? And it's limited, right? So when you have limited spiritual growth, loneliness, isolation, emotional distress, you know, all of that is imbalance and or block. Now, physical symptoms, when it gets really bad, neurological disorders, you know, you're like going along and all of a sudden you just kind of like drop something, or you get brain cancer. Muscle disorders are usually related to the nervous system. Nerve pain, thyroid and pineal gland disorders. Alzheimer's can take place, dementia as well, recurring headaches, migraines, delusional disorders, pretty much anything that's mentally a disorder. You know, anything that's in the DSM-5, pretty much, God told me, pretty much any of those could possibly be a blockage to the crown chakra. Depression, insomnia again, schizophrenia, paranoid, delusion. I mean, all of that can be. So basically, when you have a healthy crown chakra, you have an awareness spiritually. You know you are connected with everyone on this earth. You know your divine connection. You feel as if you are one. You live in the world, in the land of the law of the one. And you know that you are everyone and everyone is you. In Lakech, I am another yourself. When you have a clear, distinct impression in your mind, in your higher mind, that this is true, your crown chakra is open and it's healthy. When you know that you are formless, in reality you're formless, you are limitless, you are sacred, and you are wise because you're listening to your higher guidance, not just your brain, then your crown chakra is open. You have to understand that this chakra is sacred. It's the sacred feeling that you get. Now, something that you got to know as well, okay, is that when we consider our crown as sacred, a lot of times we consider sexuality, which is your first and second, mostly your second chakra, but your first root chakra. It's connected because it's all connected. When your kundalini rises from your first chakra, it goes up through your crown when you do it right. So you got to make sure that not only do you view your crown chakra, insights and wisdom, as sacred, but you have to also know that your first chakra, your sexuality, stop thinking of that as profane. You have to start thinking of that as also sacred. I mean, most religions have the rule where you can't have sex before marriage. They're not trying to control you. Well, they are, but they don't know where it comes from if they are trying to control you with it. What the reality of it is, the greatest gift that God has ever given us is sexuality. And when you misuse it, that is what becomes profane. But your sexuality in and of itself is not profane. It is sacred. It is a gift. Okay, so when you use it in a correct way, and you're making love to somebody who also uses it in the correct way, and you're together, when you look into each other's eyes while doing it, while creating, making love, you're literally making love into the world. You're allowing it to be and exist. And when you do that, your energies can combine in such a way that your crown chakras can be emitting this light, literally creating love on the planet. So I wanted to mention that because when you think of the crown chakra as sacred, a lot of people think of the first as profane. Oh, that's lower level. That's lower. That's base. That's sex. That's, ugh. I'm going to be spiritual now, so I'm not going to have sex anymore. A lot of people think that. It's like, no. You can do it because everyone has a different path to God. Some people, they fuck their way to God, okay? Because they're making love and they're bringing it up that way. Some people go into the tantric sexual thing, right? And some people go into just the divine union with God, that divine union, that yoga, that communion, consciousness with God, and then they live a life of celibacy. Some people are married and they make love once a week. So it's not focused either way. It's like in the middle path. Right? Everyone's path is different and everyone's path is okay, right? We're all correct in our path because our path is our path. We can never live the life of someone else. We can never allow ourselves to fall into spiritual lazy, morally lazy ways, because that's going to hurt us in the end. And then we're going to have to backtrack and go our own path again, eventually. Don't get sidetracked by the crap that other people are spewing out if it's not helping you directly. Like if I'm not helping you directly because you don't know what the hell I'm talking about, you're on the wrong channel. Go listen to Seth Rogen or something. I'm just kidding. Actually, I love Seth Rogen, but I've never heard his show yet. I don't know. Go listen to the cow report. I don't know. Pork bellies, what they're doing this week, I don't know. I mean, if I literally sound like I'm not speaking English to you during the show, possibly you're not on the right channel. All right, so don't allow someone else to think spiritually for you. And don't put your life in the hands of somebody who's morally lazy also. Well, the Bible said this, so we're going to go with that. Well, what do you think about that? You got to think your own thoughts. God gave you a brain. And so the crown chakra, when it's open, you're going to be 100% open-minded. Okay? You will feel a sense of transcendence. Also a very good movie by Johnny Depp. Love that. Oh, I loved that movie. That was an incredible movie. All right. It just raised so many questions, and just so many discussions can be had from that movie. But so this blissful union with the infinite, that's only the beginning, because after that, now you're going beyond time and space. You're knowing that you're multidimensional when your crown is open. And now we've cleansed all of our chakras, all 7 of them. We still have 5 more majors that may or may not have come online already. I know my star chakra has been super active. When you hit your star chakra, now you are in the money, baby. That is when you start to realize that you're timeline hopping. You can travel in time with your consciousness. You are aware that you are living in many different dimensions right now, and on other planets and other planes of existence. You are 100% aware of it when your star chakra is wide open. So we got to open up the crown, accept the healing, do not resist. Resistance is futile. Okay, this has nothing to do with the Borg, so don't be scared. We have to open up our crown and accept all the love pouring into us from all of the people that went before us, from our ancestors and our spirit guides and God and Goddess and whoever you relate to, Jesus, Buddha, our Prophet Muhammad. Praise and blessings be upon all of them. All right? You have to be 100% accepting of the healing energy that's coming in from the cosmos right now for the next 72 hours. Take advantage of it. Allow it to heal you. We are being forced into spiritually growing, right? A lot of people are waking up going, what the heck? What? This is what's going on in the world. This is insane. You know, while the rest of us, we've been trying and struggling so hard to spiritually grow, and now the energy's here for it to lift us up. Oh, it's so nice to have a boost up. I've been working on this my whole life. I'm like, oh, finally the cosmos is working with me. Not me working against the 3D world. Cosmos have always been there working with us, but now it's just more so. All right. Now, what are the ways of healing? Connecting with your spiritual team, meditating. I already told you about the violet lotus or a white lotus on your head. Violet light, violet flame, white, just pure white light, that column of light. Imagine that all your blocks are being washed away with liquid violet or liquid white light, or a violet and white light, or you can imagine just a very pale rainbow of light. The white light might separate in different colors and cleanse you. You know, wherever your creativity leads you, that's what you should do for yourself. Stones that you can use: diamond quartz, amethyst, diamonds, clear quartz, white quartz, selenite. Selenite is really lovely. It just purifies your energy in a heartbeat. And you can never put selenite underwater. It will melt. It's like salt. So don't ever put that underwater, by the way. You cleanse it it cleanses itself. So as it is natural cleaning, that is helpful. If you feel it needs extra and you have selenite, run it through some smoke. If you have your abalone shell, if you go native style, the way I used to, God, I wish I don't have my shell anymore. The abalone shell with the smoke from the sweetgrass, sage, any of those, things that natives use. Different tribes have different things, but basically the sage, the cedar, the sweetgrass, all that, you burn that. Pass your selenite through that smoke. If you don't have all that, just light a piece of incense. That works too. If you don't have that, Don't run out and buy cigarettes, but if you happen to have natural tobacco cigarettes that you use for ceremonial purposes, you can run it through that smoke in a pinch. Or blow out a candle and run it through that candle smoke. That's a whole other way to do it, to cleanse your selenite. Now, diamonds, diamond quartz, amethyst, those are all helpful. Put them in water, drink that water. Make sure you keep that crown chakra open though, and imagine it opening. Meditate, pray, ask Archangel Raphael to help heal you. If you have any blocks, especially if you're judgmental of people's spiritual practices and beliefs and you're very cynical and skeptical, maybe ask Archangel, well, maybe you're skeptical, you're not going to do this. Never mind. I was going to say, ask Archangel Michael to come with his mighty sword and cut away your blocks. Okay, yeah, if you're skeptical, you're going to just not, you would have shut me off, I don't know, 30 minutes ago. Maybe 45 minutes ago. All right. So when you are balanced in your crown chakra, you will be spiritually aware, present in the now moment. You will be allowed to be present with others. You won't be thinking about the past or the future. You're going to be here now. You'll become a human being, capital B, capital E, human being. You will be mindful of yourself, of God in your life. You'll be aware of the presence of love surrounding you in every second. You'll be aware of others. You'll be mindful of where you are in relations to others and what you're doing, and you will stand down from an argument or a potential argument when you see it might hurt somebody else. You will stop that before it starts. You'll allow someone to be right in an argument, even if they're not right. You just kind of let it go. Because you feel like arguing and trying to prove yourself might not be in their best interest. Allow them to discover they're wrong later on their own. You know, being mindful of stuff like that. So having your crown chakra fully balanced will help everything. Now that we've gone through these healings of the entire chakra system, I'm not going to have another chakra episode on healing as it relates to the immune system. So obviously, if it's healed and balanced, then you're going to be able to heal whatever is ailing you in relationship to your crown, basically. You know, and if you do have brain cancer, quickly, 2 cups of water, half a beet, 1 orange or a slice of pineapple, fresh is best, but half a can is okay, and 1 carrot. Mix it in a blender. Do not juice it. Blender. When I say half a beet, you can use a beet top as well. Drink it every day. That much. Full to the top, blender all the way. Every day for 3 weeks is what took me to get tumors. I had skin tumors, and they all went away in 21 days, drinking that every day. And I'm healthy now. I don't have that. So, okay, something that I learned last night is that our star chakra can connect to what some people are starting to call the star grid. We have a new grid, guys. This is so exciting. This grid can heal all of your mental stuff and psychological and emotional stuff. So what you do is you just say, I'd like to be connected to the star grid now. That's all you got to do. Say those words. I'd like to be connected to the star grid right now. When you're done playing around with the star grid, you have to say, I'd like to disconnect from the star grid now. You don't want to keep online with that because people will start to bother you. They'll see your light. So when you get up to the star grid and you see it in your third eye, okay, close your eyes and imagine you're in a grid. However it is, there's no wrong answer. It is what you see it as. But you could see other people there. And when they're connected and they're up on the star grid, I went the other day, or yesterday, last night, when I first heard about this. I saw this guy's energy. It's like these bubbly white bubbles, like I don't know how to say it, like scrubbing bubbles, but it's like these white bubbles, and they were bursting, but they're like happy and fizzy, like almost like champagne. And then I saw his cobalt blue energy with that. It was really intense. And he said he was so excited to be here, and he was like from India or something. I'm like, hey, I'm so glad to meet you. And it was, all I could see was his aura, though. I couldn't see his face or his body. I just saw his color. And everyone appears as color, and sometimes you can see their face or their body. So try it. I want to hear what you guys, what kind of information you get from that. And maybe you guys can meet me there. I think that's an upper level part of the fifth dimension, and we are part of it. We are all multidimensional, and everyone's allowed to go. It's like a secret club right now because hardly anyone knows about it, but we will be able to get there. It's so exciting. So we could go meet people. I'm going to try to go meet my twin flame and see if he's connecting to the star grid, because I want to be all, hey, here's my number, call me, or write my email, metaphysicalsoulspeak@gmail. I do want my twin in my life for sure. I think it would take a lot of my worry about my future away, because a big part of my future, I think, is going to be with my twin. So I kind of feel like I'm nervous because he's not here yet, you know. I just feel like, I think he's still healing some stuff. He told me that he's still healing some stuff in himself, so that's okay. Telepathy, he told me. I don't even know him, but anyway. But the star grid is incredible. You go up there, you can heal whatever you need to heal. I think you can maybe start to manifest and create stuff in that level. You can get together with other people. You can have conversations. And you could do this with your friends and ask if they will ping you, if they will like touch you or tap you like on your head or your shoulder or something. And then you could text each other and see if you were able to feel it where the other person touched you. Nothing inappropriate, please. Because I don't want anyone coming back and blaming me for this information. Don't touch people inappropriately. Anyway, but yeah, try it, work it out. I mean, it sounds really interesting and fun. So set a time where you guys have like an hour to hang out in the grid and see. Check this out. I mean, star grid, just say, I'd like to be connected to the star grid, please. Or I'd like to be connected to the star grid now. And then when you're done, I'd like to disconnect from the star grid now. It's that easy. It's super, super easy. So anyway, I love you guys, and I hope that you're doing really, really well. Thank you for being my listener and being on my journey with me so far this long. I can't believe I've literally done one show every single day since January 3rd, and I am going strong. Like every day, I'm like always thinking, what else is next? I do have the couple who wrote the emissary. I have to get back to them, but they were just asking me if I read the book. Oh my God, if you guys are hearing this, no, I haven't. I haven't even opened the book yet. I have been just dealing with my kid and I. We've been going through this immune system cleanse that the whole world has been going through, but I had it particularly bad because I was storing a lot of stuff in my immune system, which now I have cleansed out. Yay! So I'm going to get back to that soon. I think June is going to be the month where I really go with the authors. I was going to make that May, and then I got sick, so couldn't really leave the house to go visit Barb Snow, who I want to interview for her new book. She is on fire as a writer lately, and she's an incredible human being. I know you guys will agree, but I'm going to meet her in person. And the interview will be flawless that way. We'll probably go to a coffee house, though. It'll be all kinds of fun, neat background ASMR noises. I love that. So, let's see, what else? That's about it. I mean, send me a voice message to anchor.fm/metaphysical. I know the majority of you are now listening to me on iTunes or Apple Podcasts or Google Podcasts, but I'm available on every platform, including iHeartRadio and Stitcher. Everywhere. I mean, I'm even on CastBox. It took me forever. CastBox was my first podcast player I ever had on my phone, and it took me forever to get on there, but I'm on all the major platforms now. So I guess what I just discovered today, that's called syndication. I'm like, yeah, I've been waiting for syndication for a long time, and lo and behold, for months I've already been syndicated. Crazy, right? I had no idea. All right. Well, that's all I got to say about that. I will see you guys on the Star Grid, okay? I'm signing off now with peace and joy and love and an open crown chakra from the high vibes of the holy fifth dimension. Until next time. Metaphysical Soul Speak is run on sponsors and listener support. This means listeners like you. If you are so inclined to support my efforts and my little podcast, please visit me at anchor.fm/metaphysical and pledge an amount of your choosing today. Thank you.